warroomsports.com. Get that mobile app.
What's going on, good people out there, and welcome to another edition of Field Vision, brought to you as usual by War Room Sports in conjunction with Sports Kings. I'm one of your hosts at the round table this evening. I'm Dev, and I'm here with the brother B. Austin from War Room Sports.
Hey, good people out there. Shout out to Rick Pitino. I know that's the wrong sport, but he said I put out there 4 white guys and an Egyptian to try not to run up the score. What were you trying to say, Rick Pitino? Rest in peace, Michael
Look at
Brown.
his roster. He has an Egyptian on his roster.
He does have an Egyptian on his roster. Rest in peace, Michael Brown.
We got the homie Frank from Sports Kings.
Said this last show, I'm going to say it again. I'm prepping for the greatest holiday in the history of holidays, Thanksgiving. Y'all need to stop gassing Christmas because it's overrated as hell. It's like Robert Griffin III.
Yo, hey, that's what you say when you turn into an adult male and you get no gifts anymore.
Right.
We got Fred Purdue, collegefootballextra.com.
College football doesn't dilute the sport, and also, the sky ain't falling no more. Welcome back, LeGarrette Blunt, by the way.
Oh, yeah. All right, so welcome everybody to our Turkey Day edition of Field Vision. We're just going to break down a few things in the NFL before we talk about the big games that are coming your way during the holiday while you're stuffing your belly and talking about how overrated Christmas is. So, fellas, the New Orleans Saints basically have just completed something that they haven't done since 1997, and before that since 1967. And that's lose 3 games in a row in the Dome, or at home. I don't know if the Dome was around. I don't know when the Dome was built, but they lost 3 straight games at home. And the Saints generally don't lose much in the Dome, but this year it's something different going on. Drew Brees. Fred, I want to ask you. He's thrown some untimely interceptions during this losing streak, during this season period. I think he gets a little bit of a pass because he's Drew Brees. He's been the hero so many times. But do you think we've seen his best football? Like, is Drew Brees, his father time catching up with Drew?
Just slightly. You're taking an A player down to a B-plus player. His arm isn't the greatest anymore. It's still more than capable. The thing about it is he's still short, and his arm isn't getting any better. He's getting a little older, and the weapons around him are changing. You don't have a Darren Sproles. You don't have a Reggie Bush decoy guy that you can throw it out the backfield to. You don't have that deep speed guy like a Devery Henderson, Robert Meacham. I mean, that guy's probably Kenny Stills. Marcus Colson's getting older. Defense can't stop a soul. So it's a combination of things, but yes, I think you may have seen, and it's hard to say because from year to year, because we said that about, some people said that, I didn't, because, in Tom Brady I trust. But some people said that about Tom Brady as well, and sometimes it just takes us a moment in time where you just get right, and maybe it may be that time for Drew Brees, but you may have.
I want to disagree and agree, I guess, in a way. I'm going to disagree because I've never really been a huge Drew Brees guy myself. I've always put him, he's in that elite class, but I think he's a notch below the other guys. And I would even put a guy like Big Ben. I would rather have Big Ben than Drew Brees.
I agree with you on that one, big time. Big time.
I've always felt that way, but I do want to agree because I do think that he has looked a little shaky, and I've always thought that he is more of a fantasy quarterback, somebody that looks good, puts up the numbers because they throw so much. But I want to come to his defense a little bit. Like Fred mentioned, it's kind of hard to be good when your defense is just giving up. As soon as you score, your defense is just giving up a touchdown on the other end. It gets very discouraging, I think, as an offensive unit in whole when your defense is just leaving you without anything to build on because every time you score, they're giving up points on the other side.
I thought Ryan was supposed to help that defense.
Yeah, I don't even know how Rob Ryan does play. It makes me feel like I could be a defensive coordinator one day. But yeah, I guess I'll disagree and agree because I've never really had Drew Brees as high as most people have to begin with. So I guess he's properly rated now to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's basically a father time thing, but as Fred said, you never know. From year to year, something could snap and he could have a great year next year. Not that he's not having a good year right now, but we're used to a certain standard from Drew Brees. So the statistics are pretty much there. His interceptions are up, in a region that we're
He's
not
trusting his arm a
used to
lot more
seeing.
than normal.
And they're losing. Bottom line, they're losing.
Yeah.
So anything you do wrong while you're losing is going to be magnified. So, this Monday night game, you can't give him a pass because he basically threw a big interception that probably was the momentum changer in that game. So, yeah, he might be in decline a little bit, but
the question I like.
I completely disagree with the notion that Drew Brees is declining. To quote the great American author Mark Twain, rumors of my demise greatly exaggerated. If we look at the offensive side of the ball, they don't have the weapons and the tools that they once did to run a very complex Sean Payton offense that is based on the big play. And he's one of, and spreading the field, and he's one of the few offensive minds that I think can consistently rely on the big play, because the foundations of that offense call for vertical passing, but also it's got a solid foundation to move the chains as well. They don't have the personnel right now, and teams coming in to face them know that. So that puts an inordinate amount of pressure on Drew Brees to carry this team. And I only believe
what personnel did they not have, though, besides the dynamic running backs that they used to have?
Darren Sproles.
Darren Sproles.
That's what I said.
Reggie,
besides
Darren
the
Sproles
dynamic running backs they used to have.
I got you. You asked me a question. I got you, brother.
But Fred answered it like I didn't just say running backs.
Yeah. The out of the backfield threat is one, but on top of that, I think the guy to stretch the field isn't there. I'm not impressed with
Henderson.
I'm not impressed.
Kenny Stills is that now, but he's not really that.
I'm not impressed with Kenny Stills. I don't even see the decline that people are saying in Colston. I think Colston can make all the plays that he always did, but when you have a guy that doesn't really base his game on creating separation, double teams and triple teams mean more when you set the coverage up to stop him. So I think offensively it's not set up. Then you have the defense.
Hold on. Before you get to that, because we're still talking about the offensive tools that you guys are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a big Drew Brees guy, but I kind of think you guys are giving them excuses now, because when they were doing that, you right along with me, were putting Drew Brees in that class of quarterbacks who make everybody around him better. We were talking about how all of his tools were no-name guys. You had Colston from Hofstra, and you had Henderson and Meacham and all them guys, and we were giving Drew Brees all of the credit for those guys being good. Now that they're gone and he's struggling, we can't give him an excuse that those no-name guys that he quote-unquote made are no longer there.
I've always celebrated Drew Brees as an elite quarterback, not better than Peyton, not better than Brady, not better than Aaron Rodgers, but that guy, that fourth or fifth guy.
That guy at the end, and he's that last guy.
That fourth or fifth guy. But to address your point, Dev, I think that I never gave him credit for Colston, because I saw what Colston was from the jump, and I never really gave him credit for Darren Sproles, because I knew what Darren Sproles was from coming out of San Diego. So the only credit I could say, okay, Devery Henderson, maybe, yeah, okay, Meacham, maybe. I still think Meacham is not a bum, but I don't think he's that talented. He's just a speed.
He's just a fast 4-3 guy that just run past everything.
So now defensively, I have to move to that side of the ball, because the play calling changes when you can't stop anybody. When you can't stop anybody, then a team knows that you have to throw the ball to stay in the game. There's no hiding that. You can, hit us with the cliche. We're going to run the ball to stay consistent. We're going to mix our play calling up. You've got to stay committed to the ball. That's a little bit of malarkey. That's a little bit of malarkey. Everyone knows that they have to pass the ball. They got to throw. They have to throw.
Yeah.
So you can pin your ears back. You can set your defense up accordingly. And Drew Brees now has to make more throws without the benefit of balance. There's no balance.
Where do you? I have a question. Where do you guys?
I don't see the difference in their balance right now.
I know B. Austin touched on where he had
bigger running threat than Bush and Sproles were as actual runners right now. But
they lost. To me, they lost that physical nature when they let Chris Ivory let him go. That there was a more of a physical nature than a Mark Ingram, than a Pierre Thomas, which he's not. They're soft as cotton. Okay, Reggie Bush. The only thing I will give him is he, like Darren Sproles, was that decoy because he was able to take the ball to the house at any point.
I actually disagree with Pierre. I think Pierre Thomas is underrated. I actually think
Reggie Bush is soft too, though. But
Reggie Bush was soft, but he was such a playmaker that you had to respect him.
I have a question because B. Austin referred to where he had Drew Brees ranked prior, and it seems like he's still maybe hasn't been at the same position. I'm curious where you guys rank Drew Brees now, if anything has changed. Because personally, I have him probably 6th or 7th. I'd probably put him behind, obviously the big three, and I'd put him behind Big Ben and then Andrew Luck. And I think Drew Brees is probably in that conversation for 6th.
But I'd have to throw him.
Andrew Luck is ascending. Andrew Luck is ascending, and that 4th spot, that 4th to 3rd spot, I really believe is naturally his to claim just because of how good Andrew Luck is, not because of Drew Brees necessarily declining. I just think Andrew Luck is that damn good. Andrew Luck plays with a mediocre team, and Andrew Luck carries those dudes.
Take Andrew Luck off that team and see how good the Colts. How far the Colts go.
Declining, we're gonna be talking about how he don't have those weapons no more.
10 years, make that about 5 or 6 if he keeps getting hit like he's getting hit too.
Unduly, I've been pooping on T.Y. Hilton, who's probably a little bit better than what I give him credit.
Yeah, you guys missed out on him so much in college. They called him T.Y. They called him T.Y. Goodbye at FIU. I'm just saying that FIU.
Everybody's good in college.
Only thing I'm looking at college for is co-eds.
The scores be like 60 to 60
cheerleaders and sorority girls. But yeah, I think that it's a little early for me to say that Drew is declining. I want to see Sean Payton retool. I want to see that offense retooled. And 24 months, 2 seasons, I don't think Drew is retiring. 2 seasons from now, if we're getting the same production and the weapons have improved, and that defense, more importantly, that defense, if they get a productive defense, and then I'll be ready to say Drew. I don't want to jump the gun and say
what happened though.
I feel like for me when I posted
statistically they were good. They were good. It's like what did happen to that defense? I don't understand. And Kenny Vaccaro's safety isn't bad. He's not bad.
Jarius Byrd basically said, "Thanks for the money, deuces."
Well, but I thought he blew his knee. Out.
Yeah, he did. But even then, 2 safeties don't make your defense up front. That's like
true. That's true.
You have Cameron Jordan, Akeem Hicks, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, Paris Harrelson's horrible now. Junior Gallette's. I love Junior Gallette. I like his game, but outside of those 3 guys, who else do you really have?
Well, that's 3 out of 7. I mean,
now that we're talking about,
and by the way, your secondary is terrible in a league where everyone throws the football. I mean,
I just want to shout out
Patrick
really quick.
Patrick Robinson out of
Fred will let me get a word in. I want to shout out Steve Smith really quick for doing the NFL version of putting people on NBA posters and just taking somebody's cornbread, in his own words, once a week, just like putting somebody on a poster NFL style with a stiff on.
Yo, I love dude, yo.
Little Napoleon Senior. All right, man. So. Oh, just real quick before we move on, just to answer Frank's question, I can definitely see what you're saying when you put Luck and maybe Big Ben up there or in front of Drew Brees. But for me, in the beginning of the season, I still had him ranked I believe, at number 4. So I'm not even really willing to shuffle my quarterback deck until the end of the season. I'll wait to see how it plays out. So
That's fair.
it's possible that in a few weeks I'll be.
For me, when I pose that question, I pose it more of. I like to pose that question more so for his skill set, not necessarily him as the statistical side of it. More so his actual skill set.
All right. Well, speaking of Big Ben, because his name did come up, that was a weak segue. But AFC North, man. Every team in the AFC North right now sitting there with 7 wins. First of all, who's going to win this division? Is Cleveland going to keep this up? Because Cleveland had to basically overcome a terrible day by Brian Hoyer, in order to win that game, even though he showed up in the final drive of the game. But are they good enough to withstand games like that every week? Like, you can't win, and I think he has to play better. I don't know if they're good enough to win in spite of him every week. And I'm not saying it's an every week thing. He hasn't been playing like that the whole season. But we do know what's sitting behind him. So can he even afford to play like that? But what's up with this division? What are your thoughts on this division, fellas?
I just want to start really quick because I think Fred will appreciate this analysis here. I feel like the Browns are like one of those college teams where somehow, even though they're ranked, like they still have a quarterback controversy. They're like ranked 15th and they're like 7-2, but like the quarterback's so bad that they're thinking about putting the guy behind him in. And I feel like that's exactly what
Oklahoma to a T.
Yeah, I feel like that's where the Cleveland Browns are like right now. They can't replace Hoyer because they're 7-4 and they're winning, but at the same time, it's like this dude is throwing 3 picks in a game, and it's just like, and you got Mr. Manziel behind him, just waiting to get a chance, and obviously
waiting to get a chance and punching and not accepting hugs and giving punches out instead.
Yeah, being out at Friday night at 2:36 a.m. Shout out to Johnny Football. No chill. But to answer the question, I think I picked the Steelers before the season started, and I think they will. I think they're going to end up taking the division. I haven't looked at the schedule, but I believe that the Steelers play the Bengals week 17 or week 16 late, and I think that's sort of going to decide the division. And I'm going to take the Steelers just because I trust them more than the Bengals.
Let's go Antonio Brown. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
New addition to Nightmare on Elm Crest. Antonio Brown. Ball out. Fred and B. Austin, what are your thoughts on this division, man?
I picked the Steelers along with Frank, but like I keep saying, I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. And I got to give them a new name, the Doo-Doo Browns. The Doo-Doo Browns, they keep finding a way, man. 2 words, Josh Gordon. If he does what he did Sunday, oh my God. Can you tell he missed football?
He came.
Can you tell at all?
Picked up right where he left off. He's definitely.
One might say he came.
I want to rock right now. Doo-doo, bro. Go.
I originally picked the Cincinnati Bengals to win the division. I think I'm going to stick with that as well, but the Bengals are so inconsistent, man. They look great one week. They look terrible the next week. But I'll stick with them. But I think the Steelers are definitely going to push them for that.
Yeah, I picked I definitely, well, I'll be honest with our audience and viewers right now. I absolutely did not pick the Cleveland Browns to do anything. I think
it doesn't matter. You don't have to throw that out there.
Yeah, I think that I picked the I think I picked the Bengals. I kind of want to get over the place in history where we poop on Andy Dalton, but I mean he does need to do something in the playoffs other than just throwing the ball to AJ Green. The Steelers. I wanted to say because Troy Polamalu is now a middle-aged man, they're relying on another middle-aged man in number 92. Shout out to James Harrison. We love your nasty attitude. We love the way you play the game, but you're 47 years old. So
47 and he bench presses offensive linemen.
Yeah, I didn't believe that the Steelers would have this resurgence, and I kind of think it's artificial. I'll go to what you guys said about Big Ben being elite, and I think that an elite quarterback can make a difference in a parity-filled league. But I also think that it's a place in the season where they had a spurt, like they shot themselves full of the juice, not literally, shot themselves full of the juice. They got some play out of Ben, and in a playoff environment against a really good and talented team, I think they'll go back to turning into a pumpkin. So I don't really believe in the Steelers, although Antonio Brown is playing.
Antonio Rice, yeah.
Yo, Antonio Brown, listen, man, shout out to Ricalto. In fact, I picked against the Steelers because of Ricalto's homerism. Your man Antonio, I didn't know, dog. I apologize. Yo, your man he's that dude right now. He's that dude right now. He is all of it. Their running game.
You better be that dude for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, their running game is the talent in the backfield. I'll say is underrated. It's not the traditional. Backfield, but they're so nice. The dude that starts is so nice that he made the other dude mad, and the other dude threw a temper tantrum and left.
Thanks, Pittsburgh. Thanks.
All right, so I mean, but
so the end game is nobody's got any faith in the Ravens. Nobody picked the Ravens.
But,
actually, that was what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it makes this division tough, man. Because I think the Ravens are pretty tough. And
the Ravens, I wouldn't put it past the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl at this point. To really just make one of those runs.
And forget about a team. Like we spoke on Cleveland, but didn't speak on the Ravens. And I think the Ravens are as capable as anybody. So actually, I think it's just going to come down to who has the most favorable schedule at this point. Throw Cleveland out of there because I still just don't believe in Cleveland.
Looking at the Steelers' schedule right now,
the Steelers and the Bengals have 2 games left against each other, so that's going to obviously play a factor.
The Steelers have New Orleans. The Steelers have New Orleans, Atlanta, and Kansas City really left. I don't really think the Steelers are going to lose to the Bengals. They may split, but even if they
New Orleans
split,
has to win a game at some point, though. So you still don't want to play them.
And granted, it's in Pittsburgh, so that really helps because New Orleans just can't play outside for some reason.
Well, they need to play somewhere because they can't play inside right now either. So
and really and truly, the only
what's next?
Yeah, this is the Turkey Day edition, so let's talk about the games that are going down on Thanksgiving. We're going to briefly analyze these games because we spent a lot of time on Drew Brees and the AFC North. So, let's start with the opener on Thursday, and that's the Bears versus Detroit. Like, how do you without actually giving us your winner, because we're going to do that in games of the week? How do you guys see the game kind of playing out? What are the keys to victory for each team?
So I think the key to victory for Detroit, I'm going to quote Charles Barkley here, is to make sure Jay Cutler gets in the car, gets to the game, make sure he's nice and proper, get him some physical therapy. As long as Jay Cutler shows up and actually is starting the quarterback for the Chicago Bears, I think the Detroit Lions have a great chance to win this game. So that's my key to the game. For Chicago, it's take the ball out of Jay Cutler's hands at all costs, give the ball to Matt Forte like 35 times, and hope that he can take it home.
Yeah. Jay Cutler, man, he's just been so inconsistent. It's a shame. Like, even in their wins, he was very underwhelming last week, and you look at this offense coming into the season with the amount of weapons they have at the skill position, you just think this offense is going to be high-powered. I mean, because I'm not going to front. I didn't go as far as Fred with. As Fred.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
However, I did agree that Jay Cutler was going to have a monster year in his second year.
He's having a monster year.
With all of these, he's having a monster year, more like and hide that monster. But I just can't understand why this offense, which seems like could be so high powered, is so low powered at the moment. But
Jay Cutler. When you have a quarterback like Jay Cutler, he can take the power out of your offense.
But I agree with Frank when he says the keys for Chicago, you have to get the ball into Matt Forte's hands no matter how you do it in the running game, out of the backfield in the passing game. But Jay Cutler has to be more steady. You have so much to work with.
Jay Cutler and steady shouldn't be in the same sentence.
The probably one of the top all-purpose running backs in the league. He has to steady himself. They can make a run. I'm not saying a run to the playoffs, but they can be better than what they are right now and run off some games late in the season.
Run off some more L's?
The defense stinks. We can't put it all on him. The defense.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Damn, you see how Fred just switched up on him?
Yeah, Fred's just switched.
John Kerry.
What about Detroit, though? Detroit's
when you have a defense as bad as they looked last week.
Their offense hasn't been playing at the level that we expect from them.
Yeah. I always think it's part of the offensive team, and it's just not the case this season.
Can I just say, shout out to Golden Tate? How was that vacation on Rivers Island?
This boy will find a way to bring the Patriots up in every topic.
The evil empire. Evil empire strikes again.
Your homerism is
astounding.
Homer Simpson, yo. What you got to say there, Simpson?
Yo, if we talk about the Memphis Grizzlies, he's gonna find a way to say Belichick.
They can't go left.
Zach Randolph.
Oh man.
Belichick.
It's gonna be like Mike Conley is number 11, and then that's one number away from number 12, which is Tom Brady.
Oh man.
My keys to the game. Listen, man. I don't know what's up with Jay Cutler, and I'd be remiss if I didn't honestly admit, just like you, Dev, I'm not a Jay Cutler detractor. Like, I don't think take this season out of the mix. I don't think he's a bad QB, but god damn, I don't know. You got Alshon Jeffries and Brandon Marshall, which on paper, these guys are not old. They're not out of their prime. I mean, Marshall got a couple miles on his tires, but he's not, you have probably a top 5 receiving core talent-wise. You got a decent tight end. You have
Antonio Holmes isn't.
You have an underrated tailback in Matt Forte, and I know he's underrated because I underrate him. Like, I poop on Forte unnecessarily. Like, he's probably better than the credit I give him. Like, I don't understand. I don't. Their defense is bad, but it's like if the defense is playing bad and the QB is playing bad at the same time, they're both pooping on each other because the defense ain't stopping anybody, which means you got to give the ball to Cutler, which means he got to throw it, and if he's throwing it to the other team, then it's like, what Fred said, when you have a quarterback like Jay Cutler, give the ball to Matt Forte, and the defense has to show up. For the Lions, Stafford has to – you got to understand there's a couple of quarterbacks in the league that are directly – they have Brett Favre DNA. They're his sons.
Stafford,
Cutler, and Romo.
Both of these guys.
Yeah. Romo. A little bit of Matt Ryan. Go ahead and say it. Matt Ryan.
No,
too.
Matt's
Matty Ice has. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Romo. Honestly,
Romo.
And Buck's got a little Brett Favre at times.
Stafford's got to spread the ball around. And the thing with Stafford is Devin and I watched the game together, and we've watched actually him dissect our Eagles. Stafford maintained his discipline in the game plan, and he's spreading the ball around. He can literally pick you apart. Like, he's that accurate. But he has this thing in him, and it's his confidence, it's his cockiness, where he believes beyond.
He can make every throw.
He can make every throw into every window, and it's like every so often he gets
every tired.
He starts thinking he's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he gets tired of the mundane. He gets tired of just sticking with the game plan. He said, let me throw it 20 yards down the field in between the safety and the corner and this bracket coverage and the linebacker getting
down. He has a rocket launcher for it all.
Let me just test it out. So as long as Stafford doesn't do that, they have a chance. And the Lions' defense is far superior right now in terms of the way it's playing to the Bears. I gotta see the Lions being a favorite. Well, we're not going to talk about that, but that's the Lions.
That's the thing about the Lions. Like, even when their offense isn't clicking on all cylinders, the defense keeps them in games, and then the offense always wakes up for that last drive or two. So,
my key to victory.
Comeback kids from Detroit, they'll get you because the defense will keep them in the game. Let's go to game number 2, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles going down to Jerry World to visit the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams, they're tied at the top of the NFC East. This game is basically for the NFC East lead, sole possession of first place. It's been a game that, I can't speak too much for Dallas fans, but some overzealous Eagles brethren of ours have been looking forward to this game for like 5 weeks, as if we didn't have five other teams in between, including the Green Bay Packers, who
Aaron Rodgers literally
had the potential to do to us what they did to us, yet fans still look right past them because
he literally
all they care about is Dallas. What do you guys think about this? And keys to victory for both teams. Let's make this one a little bit quicker than we did the last one.
My keys to victory: Dallas run the ball, don't put the ball in Tony Romo's hands. Plain and simple. Eagles. The next time the Eagles throw the ball 43 times, I'm gonna go find Chip Kelly and strangle him. With Sanchez. That's all.
I take issue with that whole keep that ball out of Romo's hands stuff, man.
Don't put it in his hands. Don't do it at the end. Don't do it at the end.
No matter what this guy does, like, people just will not give him.
I like Romo. I actually put him. He's up there. He's right there. But at the end, it's like, come on, dude. There's a glitch in him, and it's like he goes, what do I do?
But for all the statistic monsters out there, because I've never been a stats is the gospel person, but I like to throw stats back into people's face. Not you, Fred, but there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, we like to throw it back in Fred's face.
No, because I'm not talking about Fred, but there's a lot of people out there that I talk to all the time who live and die by statistics, but then when it's somebody they don't particularly care for, then the statistics don't mean anything. Everybody talks about how Romo's terrible. I've seen Romo make the big mistake. I'm not blind to that. But at the same time, statistically, he's actually one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the league by what you statistic gods think clutch is. He just completed his 27th game-winning drive, and people will still not give him his props. But I think a lot of that has something to do with the fact that if you're not a Cowboys fan, you hate the Cowboys. Anybody who doesn't root for the Cowboys pretty much hate the Cowboys. I personally think all fans outside of Cowboy Nation give Dallas, give them too much shine by hating them as much as everybody hates them when they haven't been relevant for like 20 years. But hey, that's just me. But I think that has a lot to do with how people judge Tony Romo. Tony Romo is a very good quarterback, and everybody who's rooting for a team playing against Tony Romo has some sort of fear about Tony Romo and what he can do to their team. But when he does go ahead and make that mistake, then they act like, oh, I knew that was going to happen all along. It's that kind of thing with Tony Romo.
People are enamored with rings.
I don't feel comfortable playing against the dude. And the balance that they're showing this season does make him an even better quarterback because he's not asked to do every single thing and carry the team like he's been for the past 5 or 6 years. So,
can I ask this one question? If Tony Romo had one ring, what would the narrative be?
Oh yeah, I mean it's always about rings, but
he would be the greatest thing since.
No, if Tony Romo had one ring, he'd be like Peyton Manning. People will still try to detract from whatever he's doing.
Because Eli Manning is so much worse. And
if Romo had one ring, they would call it a fluke. They would say it was, he got on a hot run or something like that.
Because after the Michael Jordan era, everything became about rings.
Mm-hmm.
But it really became about multiple rings. You win one ring, you're still not all
Yeah,
that. You gotta win
Eagles
multiple.
fans are stupid. I'm
Unless
sorry if you're
fans like,
offended, but
they
fans
like
are stupid.
rings, so one ring is enough. They don't care for Peyton Manning, so no, one ring's not enough for him. It
Frank,
depends on who you
what
are.
are your keys?
My keys for the Eagles, I'll be brief. For the Eagles, my keys are to try and stop DeMarco Murray, try and maintain him a little bit. But also, I think more so, I think for the Eagles, the defense is going to have to get a couple of turnovers in positive territory and give the Eagles a couple of easy scoring opportunities. For Dallas, I just think they have to establish. I think they're the favorite going in, and I think they just have to come out quick, come out fast, and then don't give the Eagles a chance to get momentum. I think that's the key to the game for Dallas.
Yeah, I agree. With the whole momentum, and the way I think Dallas can get momentum is to get the running game going, which against the Eagles might not be that hard of a thing to do, because if they get the Eagles defense, if they have one strength, it's the pass rush. So if they can get the running game going and leave the defense on his heels, leave the defense guessing about what they're going to do, then the game could possibly get ugly. But if the Eagles, on the other hand, can get Tony Romo to give them the ball once or twice, they need to seize that opportunity, maybe hopefully take one of those to the house, because we do know about the Eagles and their struggles in the red zone. So it's
That
going to be
shotgun on the goal line ain't never been a good thing.
Yeah, well, Dev took all the good points. He said, make it brief.
I was brief. I was just good.
Yeah. The Cowboys offensive line has to dominate. They have to run the ball. They have to be balanced. Much like Dev said, Tony Romo is a top 6 or 7 quarterback in the league. I mean, he can kill you. He has for years played on an underwhelming a team that was underwhelming with regards to talent and carried them, and then everybody is upset when that talent doesn't show up because it wasn't there, and he does make mistakes. But that notwithstanding that, I mean, they're scary. The Dallas Cowboys are scary right now because they fit the hype that they usually get this year, and it all starts with the fat guys. Yo, the fat guys are for real. They are good. DeMarco Murray is not a bad back. In fact, he's good. But DeMarco Murray is not great. DeMarco Murray's offensive line
he doesn't get touched
is amazing right now. And that really, really scares me as an Eagles fan. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and I'll fall on my sword. I'll take the creaming. The Dallas Cowboys are a better football team than the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And that bothers the hell out of me, but it's a truth. Defensively, they're clicking. Their secondary, though much maligned and having some of the same personnel that they had when they were historically bad, has improved. Scandrick is playing on a level where he believes that he's a number one corner, and confidence is big at that position. He's balling. The safeties, Barry Church is a thumper back there. He's good. Their linebackers are balling. They are getting some pressure with their front four. They're balling, man. The Eagles.
I was about to say, I would like to see the Eagles' defensive front really show some pride and take that challenge, because I'm sure all they're hearing is the line, the O-line. Man up, take that challenge, and show that these guys are human just like everybody.
The Eagles are an enigmatic team, man. I don't know really what to say that hasn't been said. We can score in bunches.
That ain't gonna stop.
We can shut down for a long period of time. He was gunning, dude. Defensively, our secondary is garbage at the corner position, and I hope that Tony Romo isn't in a position to exploit that, which means our front seven has to get to the quarterback. They got to get to him. They got to crack his back. get their chiropractor on, and make it happen. And that's the bottom line. And then special teams for us. That's the short. Special
And
teams.
stop throwing the dang ball 43 times with Mark Sanchez.
Oh,
That's
Sanchez.
I keep telling you, Fred keep complaining about that, but he the only person on this panel who's called Chip Kelly a genius. But that ain't none of my business. So let's go ahead and pick them. Games of the week, and we'll start with the 3 Turkey Day games. Bears at Lions. B. Austin, who you got?
Lions.
Frank, who you got?
Lions.
I as well have the Lions holding it down at home. Fred, who you got?
John Kerry.
When you have a quarterback like Jay Cutler, the Lions will always win. So give me the Lions.
All right.
Cutler so fast.
Eagles visiting AT&T Stadium. Eagles at Cowboys. Fred, who you got?
Oh, this is a tough one. Give me the Cowboys, just simply because they're at home.
Frank.
I'm also going to take the Cowboys, but I think it's going to be extremely close. I think it'll be a one-possession game.
B. Austin, here we go, yeah.
Burn the beanie, man. Burn it. Come on, burn it.
We're going to be the most hated Eagles fans in the world because we're doing our job, keeping it objective. I'm going to pick the Cowboys. Of course, I hope, pray, and root that it goes the other way. I love to be wrong in this situation, but I'm going to pick the Cowboys. B. Austin, who you got?
Oh.
Is he there or is he frozen?
He didn't want to pick the Cowboys.
He don't want to pick nobody.
He knew he was going to pick the Cowboys, so he didn't want to use it to shame.
He's currently burning that beanie.
B. Austin not getting out of this one. Whenever his technical difficulties finish, we're going to go back to that because I'm not going to take that one on myself. All right. So,
Oh man.
let's go to the night game. Seahawks at 49ers. Frank, who you got?
I am going to take the 49ers because I don't trust the Seahawks on the road at all.
I am also going to take the 49ers. I know their offense has been struggling. I mean, they let Eli Manning give them 5 turnovers, 5 interceptions, and they still only scored 16 points. You know, a week and a half ago or whatever that was. But I don't know. I don't see Seattle going into San Francisco and taking this game. So I'll take San Francisco. Fred, who you got?
Give me San Fran. 10 points.
San Fran's like we're all agreeing today. All right, I got one for you guys. Browns versus Bills, and the Bills will be hosting this game, even with the slight damage to the stadium. They pressed to get that money that they lost. Fred, who you got?
Give me the doo-doo Browns, man. Yo, I can't pick against them even on the road. This is too hard. Give me the doo-doo Browns. I'm rooting for a Cinderella story.
I can pick against them. I'm going with the Bills. And surprise, surprise, Kyle Orton is playing pretty well. I think he's somewhere around 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 60-something% passing. I'm going to go with Orton and the boys in Buffalo to hold it down. Frank, who you got?
I'm going to take the Browns. I think the Bills have had a really big emotional roller coaster, and I think that it's kind of being a little bit of a letdown game for them.
You think they're about to go down the hill? All right, so
that's going to be said about a short week too.
We got a few more here. We got Chargers versus Ravens. Frank, Chargers, Ravens.
Damn, we're picking like every game this week. I am going to go with
Some good ones.
I officially do not believe in the Chargers anymore. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm off the Chargers bandwagon.
No, we're just in agreement today because I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. I think the Ravens are just tough. And every time I think about it, you know, Frank reminded us that throughout that whole AFC North conversation, nobody brought up the Ravens, but they might be the team that actually takes it. I got the Ravens going in there and beating the Chargers. Fred, who you got?
Give me the Ravens, best offensive line in football. Not to mention Justin Forsett is having a great year. He's forcing them to have to pay him if possible at 30.
And Forsett, we trust. He's another one of my. He's a part of Nightmare on Elm Crest. Actually won me a game. I didn't even put the scenario up this week Frank, because it was that dire. I was like, usually I put it up there a little tongue in cheek, thinking like I got a chance. I didn't
Right.
think I had a chance. So I was being a poor sport this week, and I wasn't going to tell anybody what the scenario was. And I still ended up winning because Forsett went crazy. Steve Smith beat up a couple D-backs, and I got the win. Marion Elmcrest is now 10-2 on the season. So let's go Packers, Patriots at Packers. Fred, he wouldn't have let us get out without picking this game anyway. So, Fred, you do the honors. Your Patriots going into Lambeau to face the Packers.
My number 12 is better than their number 12. Give me Tom Brady and the Patriots to come away with a close win.
That's a nice little saying, but that's just not true. And I think the Patriots have a really good chance to win this game, but the way the other number 12 is playing, the number 12 in yellow, I think I'm going to take the Packers at home on this one. This one is difficult. This is probably the hardest one of the week.
It was a hard one for me to pick,
I think the Patriots can, it's not far-fetched to think they'll go in and take this. But
I didn't want to automatically take the Patriots either, because it's the home game. It's the home atmosphere for the Patriots. They hardly lose at home.
It's the homer, you said?
And Brady, I trust. Sky not falling.
I've been extremely impressed with the Patriots. Obviously, like everybody else, they played 3 tough teams and demolished all 3 of them. Really. That being said, I'm going with the Packers. I think this is I'm going to go as far as saying I'm going to be completely premature and saying I think this is a Super Bowl preview, and I'm going to take.
Oh, if it is, I can't wait.
Hey, that could possibly be true the way these guys are playing at the moment. Okay, last game. Let's go Broncos at Chiefs. Fred, I know you had some concern about the Broncos and the way they've been playing lately. Who you got this one, Broncos or Andy Reid's boys?
Give me the Chiefs. The Broncos they struggled against the Dolphins. Ugh,
the Dolphins aren't too bad right now.
I think the Dolphins are good.
Yes, sir. Eagles at Cowboys. Who you got?
I got the Cowboys in a rump wrangling, unfortunately.
Damn.
Oh,
Judas
Chauffeur Talbini.
16 pieces of silver. No, 13 pieces of silver.
16.
All right, so let's go Seahawks at 49ers, the late game. B. Austin, who you got in that one?
Seahawks. They're back.
Frank, who you got? Seahawks and Niners?
I'm going to take the Niners because I don't trust the Seahawks on the road.
We are in agreement this evening because I have the 49ers as well. The 49ers offense hasn't been performing too well as of late, like we've been talking about the past few days, before their last game against Washington, because Washington doesn't really count. Eli Manning threw 5 interceptions for the 49ers, and they still only scored 16 points. But for some reason, I just have a feeling that the Seahawks they're not going to go in there and win. Fred, who you got?
Niners, 10 points.
Niners by 10 points. All right, so let's go to the rest of the games of the week, man. Browns versus Bills. Fred.
Browns. I love the Doo-Doo Browns. They're gonna challenge this playoff race.
I got the Bills in this one. Kyle Orton is playing pretty well, actually. 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, over 60% completion. I think he's in the high 60s, actually. But you really can't gauge anything off what you do to the New York Jets either. But I got the Bills in this one.
They're the New York team. They're the other New York team.
Frank,
Me? First of all, I want to know why Fred has the worst possible nickname for the Browns of all time. First he called them the Brownies, now he calls them Doo-Doo Browns. Both terrible. I am going to pick the
Cornball Brothers.
Browns. I'm not even going to try to come up with a clever nickname. I'm just going to call them the Browns. I have them winning. Anytime you're named after a color, I think you got a good chance. But I think the Bills are going to have a letdown game after all the emotion from last week. So I'm going to take the mediocre yet sort of good Browns.
By the way, the Bills will be hosting this game at home,
In the
even though the stadium has a little bit of damage from the storm. But B. Austin, who you got?
Doo-doo, bruh, go. Oh. That's the tide of Florida.
Oh, man.
I'm going
So
with the
shady.
Dookies. I'm going with the Dookies. Brown shower for everybody.
We just made the Browns stink.
So after I pounce on the bird,
Let's take this to the former Browns and Chargers at Ravens. B. Austin, who you got?
Ravens.
I have the Ravens as well. Still bothering me that Frank reminded us that we talked about the AFC North for about 15 minutes and nobody mentioned the Ravens, and they might very well be the toughest team in the division. I got the Ravens in this one, taking care of the Chargers. Frankly,
Yeah, in the words of the battle rapper Born, the love is love, but the hate is real. I got the Ravens as well. I'm officially off of the Chargers bandwagon. I'm out. If anything Chargers, I'm out.
Peace
Yeah,
to the Chargers.
Can't do it. Won't do it. Can't win with them.
Give me the Ravens.
Chargers, Ravens. Who you got? Belichick?
Yeah, I got yes. Belichick, no. Give me the Ravens. Best offensive line in football. Get ready for Justin Forsett to put in work.
Good,
All right,
good point.
Forsett, we trust. We're going to stay with you. We're going to go to your team. The Patriots go on the Lambeau to face the Packers. What you got?
My bad man is better than your bad man. My number 12 is better than your number 12. Go Patriots.
You don't believe that?
Yeah. So while that's clever, I don't believe it. Not right now, at least. Not the way Aaron Rodgers is playing. But I don't want to make this game all about the quarterbacks. But, I think it's going to be tough for the Patriots to go up to Lambeau and get the win. Although I don't think it's out of the question. I think it'll be a very good game. Kind of a toss-up, in my opinion. But I'm going to take the Packers at home.
Just go ahead and say it. You want Jordy Nelson to do good.
I'm going to take the Packers at home and Georgia we trust. Nightmare on Elm Crest. Frank, who you got?
As a great philosopher Jay-Z once said, Fred, we don't believe you. You need more people. I got
Oh, Nelly's house is weak. B. Austin, who you got?
What weakness does Aaron Rodgers have?
Tom Brady.
Other people. It ain't him. He has no weakness. Other people.
Tom Brady does not play defense on Aaron Rodgers. So
No, here's just how
Tom
strong.
doesn't play defense on anybody.
I got the Cheeseheads. RELAX, Fred.
BRADY.
Get off it.
Last game of the week before we get out of here. We're going to take it to Jimmy's Broncos. Going to visit the Chiefs, and we'll stay over there with you. B. Austin, who you got?
Yo, you already knew when you asked. You should have just said B. Austin has the Broncos in this contest.
Frank, who you got?
I got Mr. Red Forehead himself. I'm going with Peyton Manning and the Broncos.
Fred, Broncos, Chiefs. I know you had, some concerns about the Broncos.
Let's hear the hate. Let's hear the hate. We all know that he's a Broncos hater. Let's hear it.
Can I pull back the curtain and say I picked the Chiefs, but I really kind of want to change my mind? I don't want to change my mind.
Carey.
It's going on record. It's going on record now. What you said on first take doesn't matter.
Give me Omaha.
Take two.
Omaha said. Let's go. Go Broncos.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos as well. I know they've had their struggles over the past few weeks, and it's good to be a team that struggles and still wins most of the games they're struggling in. I actually think that the end season struggling is good for Denver. Brings them back to earth a little bit.
Character.
The playoffs start. I think last regular season was a little too easy for those guys, and they ended up getting their ass whooped when it really counted. So I think it's a good time to start taking a few L's. So
Make them run the
Look,
football a little bit.
This has been a long ass Turkey Day edition of Field Vision for B. Austin, Frank, Fred, and Dev. Check out warroomsports.com. Check out collegefootballextra.com. Check out sports-kings.com. Make sure you get that War Room Sports mobile app as well, so you can check out Field Vision right there on your little phone, or whatever you got there. But look, everybody have a wonderful Turkey Day. Frank says this is the greatest holiday in the history of the world.
No question.
He said Christmas is
Totally
very
agree.
overrated.
It is.
Clearly, no debate.
Like I said, when you tend to be an adult male, you know, I can see exactly where he's coming from, because Christmas doesn't hold the same allure for you unless you're just the most giving person on earth.
Gotta wake up at the crack of dawn.
I get food and I get to watch football all day, and I don't get
Thanksgiving, you wake up,
about it.
wake up, you eat, you watch football, you eat, you watch more football, and you eat. I mean, what else do you want?
And you get a day off. And you get a day
What
off.
else do you want?
It's
I'm done.
a man's dream. It's a man's dream.
Mhm.
We're gonna leave you guys with that. Make sure you leave your your comments in the comment section. Make sure you
Commentary.
like the video. Make sure you like the page, so you know every time a Field Vision comes out, you can come watch it and see what we got to say. But like we always like to leave you guys with a little tidbit of knowledge. Don't you ever accept mediocrity. Never, ever, ever. And be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We see you chumps on top.
Rest in power, Michael Brown. No justice, no peace.
Kuwait is the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.